Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. The video you've been waiting for, how to get along with Enneagram Type Nines. It's really not that complicated. Nines already want to get along with you, so maybe to the point that it becomes a little bit unhealthy. Nines might try to get along with you until they kind of minimize themselves, diminish themselves, to the point that they're not sure they even exist anymore. Well, that might be a little bit too far, but we're going to look at how to get along with Type 9s today. And we're going to be looking at a list from this book, The Enneagram Made Easy. This is the book I started with years ago, and I thought it might be helpful to go back to the beginning and just look at this list. And look, I wrote down a lot of notes, so I've been thinking about this, how to get along with Type 9s. Before we jump into this list, just a reminder, in the description below is a link to my website, tomlahue.com, where I do offer Enneagram coaching for you or as a married couple to help you guys learn to get along better. Maybe you've just had enough. I've had enough, Tom. I can't take it anymore. All right. Well, reach out to me. I'd love to work with you through one of my programs. You can do a single appointment all the way through to 12 weeks or beyond. I mean, whatever. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere, Lord willing. Also, I have a lot of classes available on demand. I've got an Enneagram coaching class coming up in January. I'd love for you to sign up for that class. It's a lot of fun. It's so interesting. And it's on Zoom. And also, I have a lot of books, a lot of study guides that I've created. And there's one right now that's for free on procrastination. So don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Download the free book today. It's in my store tab on my website. All right, so let's talk about Type 9s. The peacemaker, the referee, the negotiator. A lot of good names for nines. The dreamer. And like I said, it's not that hard to get along with nines. They usually want to get along with you. They don't usually want conflict. But let's look at this list and then expand and see what happens. I don't have a real grand plan here except to just look at the list and see what happens. So I do talk to a lot of nines. I have a lot of nines that reach out to me. Tom, I need help with my goals. I need help clarifying my goals. I need help knowing what to do next. My roommate left, or I'm going through a divorce and I just feel stuck in life. So if that feels like you're in good company. It's kind of some nine struggles. But let's see what it says here. The first one is, if you want me to do something, how you ask me is important. I especially don't like expectations or pressure. I thought that was interesting that that was the very first one on the list. I don't know if they're intending to put these in any kind of order, but I just thought that was interesting that the very first one on the list is, if you want me to do something, you have to make sure you ask me, I would say in a gentle way, without a lot of pressure or without a lot of super high expectations, because I don't want to let you down. I don't want you to be upset with me. I don't want there to be problems. And I think you need to be clear on what you're asking for. Like, it's weird that nines appreciate directness. They want you to tell them exactly what to do. They want you to tell them and be very clear so that all the expectations can be clear. But nines sometimes struggle with being direct themselves with other people. I mean, they tend to be a little bit ambiguous, hope that people will fill in the blanks, and because they don't want to offend people, they don't want to hurt your feelings. A lot of 9-wing ones. 9-wing eights can be a little more snarky, I would say. But as a general rule, nines, the speaking style is the saga. Kind of goes on, and sometimes you're waiting for it to get to the point. It's not very efficient sometimes in the way they communicate, but nines appreciate it when you tell them exactly what you want them to do. But notice it says to do it in a gentle way. Like, how you ask me is important, because nines could tend to agree with stuff and then never really follow through and never really, and then tend to withdraw. If the relationship becomes problematic, they might just tend to withdraw from you without really bringing out into the open what the problem is. I think healthier nines can do that. They can say, hey, here's what the problem is, and they can deal with it. But nines just usually tend to hate confrontation. They like stimulated conversations, but that's not the same thing as, did I say stimulating conversations, and they like, to have their voice heard and their opinions heard, but that doesn't mean they like conflict and they like people being upset and they like their environment, yeah, I would say they don't like that. All right, next, I like to listen to be of service, but don't take advantage of this. People do. Oh my goodness. Nines, you guys are wired like therapists. People plop down in front of you in your office and you have to put your work aside because they just want to, hey, Mary, can I tell you about what's going on in my life? You'll listen to me for an hour. And nines tend to do that. They tend to like give space to people, which is interesting because you feel like you can't take up too much space. Nine's got a clear message as kids. Don't take up too much space. Don't be a problem. Don't be demanding. And yet when other people take up space in your life, you tend to try to give them space and help them work through their problems. And so I think it's a good note here to say, I'll listen to you, but don't abuse this. Don't take advantage of me because I got my own work to do. You've got your own work to do, and you can't always just give your attention to whoever plops down in front of you to hear about their vacation or to hear about their problems. I know you tend to be willing to do this, but you're going to have to get a little better at saying, hey, Marty, I'm sorry, but I'm swamped right now with work. Maybe you could come back later. And then when they give you that huffy response, of, well, fine. If you don't have time, you're just going to have to be okay with it. Because the reality is you've got your own work to do. You need to have goals of your own. You need to have some objectives, some clear objectives of what needs to be done in your life. And you got to stay focused. One wing, you got to stay focused on getting those things done. And you can't always just make space for everybody that wants to, junk up your life, junk up your space. So you got to be a little more discerning, maybe with, I'm sorry, I don't have time right now, or I'm sorry, Tom, I'd really love to talk to you, but now's not a good time. Thank you for understanding. You're going to have some boundaries. The boundaries can be tough for nines, especially nine wing one, especially the fusing and merging sexual nine wing one can really be hard to have boundaries because you feel like you're being a bad guy. You don't want to be a bad guy. You feel like you're letting people down if you say, I'm sorry, but I don't have time right now. But you need to be in charge of your time. You need to be in charge of your space. Listen to that 8 voice right next to you, like, get in charge of your space. Learn to tell people no. You don't have to do that. Don't take that from them. Own your space. Own your voice. Tell them no. And that can feel really challenging when you're a nice person. And you nines tend to be very nice people. And we appreciate that, but we will take advantage of it. We will plop ourselves down and take advantage of your... And then when you have something to say, what? Nobody listens. Tell me I'm wrong. Put it in the comments. Tom, you're wrong. And then I'll think about it. But I don't think I'm wrong. I think you tend to listen and value people and value their opinions. But then when you have something to say, it seems like people don't really value or listen to your opinion or stop to listen. And so if you want to get along with a type 9, listen to their opinions. Don't talk over them. Everybody talks over you. And if you want to get along with a 9, you got to slow down, you got to relax, you got to calm yourself down, and you got to be direct and clear and gently nudge, but don't push. Don't create an awkward, uncomfortable environment. 9s hate that. By the way, 9s, you do really good at trying to heal those awkward, uncomfortable environments if you have the energy or the bandwidth, to show up to do that kind of work. But if you want to get along with a 9, you need to make it easy. You need to make it easy for them. You need to be gentle with them, and you need to create an environment where it's non-confrontational, where it's collaborative, where it's calm and peaceful, and not confrontational, not always upset, not dramatic all the time. Avoid unnecessary conflict and aggressive communication. Avoid those things. All right, so what do I got so far? The first one was, if you want me to do something, how you ask me is important. I especially don't like high expectations or pressure. Call them. You need to call them for me. Call them and have a fight for me. They don't want to do that. I like to listen, to be of service, but don't take advantage of this because I think 9s will eventually withdraw from you. They will just ghost you and disappear from you and you won't know what happened. But they don't want to be around you, but they can't tell you that out loud because they have nice person disorder and they don't want to say, Tom, you're a real pain in the butt. You won't leave me alone. They won't say that. So they'll just kind of withdraw. And it would be good if you could be just a little more assertive, probably. Just a little bit more assertive and say, Tom, thank you. I really appreciate it, but now's not a good time. I'll have to get back to you later. I don't know. What do you want from me? I told you I'll get back to you later. You can do it. You can do it. All right. Next is listen until I finish speaking. Listen until I finish speaking. What did I say? I said people talk over nines. They do it all the time. And maybe you need to, not let them talk over you so much. But how do I do that, Tom? It's so scary. Well, you could just keep talking, even though they're trying to talk over you. Just don't stop talking. Just keep talking and maybe even get a little bit louder. Ooh, that feels aggressive, doesn't it? I would just say experiment with it. Play with it. The holidays are coming up and we're going to be around all these people and your voice matters. Your presence matters. Say it with me. My voice matters. My presence matters. I didn't mean presence under a tree, Christmas and all, but your presence. Being there, you as a person taking up space. You have a right to own space. You have a right. You're a person. It's okay for you to show up fully. It's okay for you to have a different opinion. It's okay for you to disagree with people. It's okay for you to say no. No, thank you. No, I'm sorry, that's not going to work for me. Thank you. I would like a second. It's okay for you. Ask yourself this question. Is it okay for a person to ask for a refill on their drink when they're at a restaurant, even if the waitress is busy? Yes, it is okay for a person to ask for a refill. Okay, well, now you know it's okay for you to take up space and ask for things and tell people no and tell them, I'm sorry, it's not going to work for me. Thank you for understanding. Ugh. I have a hard time with this too. I'm not a 9 at all. I'm a 7, 100% a 7, but still, I kind of want to be a nice person, and it's hard for me to say these things too. It's something I have to teach myself to be okay to do this kind of work, but listen until I finish speaking. Can you please just listen? Listen to me, right? Even though I meander a bit. I didn't put that in there, guys. That's in the notes. Even though I meander. What did I say the speaking style of a 9 was? The saga. What does the saga do? It meanders a little bit. Kind of goes around in circles and talks about on the way home, and there was a dog, and then, there was a homeless guy, and it was really kind of funny, actually. The homeless guy stopped, and people that are like efficiency nuts, like 8s and 3s and some 1s, anybody with that NT and Myers-Briggs, like INTJs or ENTPs or whatever they are, that NT efficiency thing, they're going to be so frustrated when you start to meander in your story. But that's all right. Look, this is a video about how to get along with you. So the rest of you guys watching this, let your 9 meander a little bit. Don't push, don't rush them. Let them tell their story. Just you slow down and listen. Listen to them. You want to get along with them, you got to listen. Okay. So give me time to finish. Wait, where did I say? Okay. Next is give me time to finish things and time to make decisions, because that can be tough sometimes. 9s can tend to be a little indecisive, especially under pressure. They look like a 6, and 6s struggle with making decisions. Does that make sense? I don't know. What do you think? 6s and their inner committee. And so under stress, 9s can look a little bit like this, can be a little bit indecisive. It's okay to nudge me gently and non-judgmentally. Yeah, I think 9s, I would say 9s tend to be non-judgmental people. They tend to try to see all sides and understand people's perspectives. And, one of the ways that you can relate to them is to try to mirror that back to them and try to be a little less judgmental and harsh and critical and all those things with them. Who doesn't? Nobody wants judgmental and critical in their life. But I think it's interesting, give the 9 some space and some room to make some decisions and to think about things. Ask me questions to help me get clear. Ask me questions to help me get clear. And again, this means you're not pushing an agenda on them. You're trying to help them figure out what they want. You're trying to help 9s prioritize things in their life. And that is, kind of one of the most important things I think 9s can do is start to prioritize their own goals. Goals can be hard for 9s. At their best, they look like 3s, which are very goal-driven people. But 9s sometimes struggle with goals because they tend to see both sides of things. And, is it really going to be worth the effort? Is it really going to work out? Are other people going to be upset with me if I give all this time and attention to this thing that I'm pursuing? So you might want to help a 9 sort of clarify their goals, prioritize what they want by asking them questions like, well, what do you think you want to do when you get out of school? Okay. And then I got to listen, see? Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds really good. Well, what made you decide nursing? And then look, you have to shut up and listen to the 9. What made you decide nursing? Have you thought about anything else? Has anything else, come up in your mind that you thought about doing besides nursing? Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. What would it take in order to see? You got to help a 9 draw it out. That's the whole sloth thing. Is it's hard for 9s to kind of hear what's going on inside, and they start to think it's not worth it. It's not worth it to go in there and try to dig around in all those boxes and find out stuff about myself. I'm not that important. But you are important. And if you love a 9 or care about a 9, you might have to do a little bit of investigative work with that 9 to help them dig around inside there to figure out who they are and what they want to do in life. And that's going to take your attention. It's going to take you, not pushing them, but helping them to sort through some of their priorities and then helping them take actionable steps to break out of those routines. Oh, routines. It's kind of like the death knell for 9s. It can work for you if you have good routines. We would call those like good habits. But sometimes routines just become that dog run that we run back and forth, and it doesn't really get us anywhere. And it's helpful if you're a 9 to think about, are there any routines that I'm stuck in that I need to try to break free from? And then what could my life be like in 5 years? What could my life be like if I did aspire to some goals? And maybe I should incorporate some of those goals into my life. Maybe I should incorporate some of those daily practices that'll move me forward in life into my life. Yes, I'm content, and content is a good thing. The rest of us need to be more content, but maybe you're a little too content. Like you need to push back on that contentment a little bit and say, my life could be better. Like I could maybe go through that management training and I could aspire to be a manager. Why do I not feel like that's for me? Why do I feel like that's for somebody else and not really for me? Like the rest of the pages in my book, when I try to think about the future, are just kind of all blank and I don't know what to write in them. I don't know what really belongs in those pages. Well, the negative side is it feels like things are a little blurry and blank, but the positive side is you could do anything. You could do anything. People like you. That's kind of your whole thing, is you're very likable and people appreciate you, but you might have to be a little bit more assertive in life, a little bit more driven, a little bit more focused, and decide at least 2 or 3 things in your life that are worth going after, that are worth spending your time on. And even though you could live without it, you don't want to decide to be the person that just lives without everything. Stop doing that. Don't say, I can just fine the way things are. Good. The rest of us need to be more like that. But you might need to have something pulling you forward in life. Something that feels, positive and exciting and enthusiastic. You value that in other people. It's okay for you to have that. It's okay for you to see a preferred future and move toward that. You're not getting in the way. You're not being a problem. Going after something in life. We want that for you. The people that love you want that for you. Okay. So where am I? I should take a breath. Like, I don't feel like I've even taken a breath. I just talk. Somebody put on one of my comments on a Type 8 video. Great points, but man, I just can't take all your rambling. And I was like, that's what I do, man. I'm a rambling man. I ramble. Okay. Ask questions to help me get clear. There it is right there. Ask me questions to help me get clear. Clear about what? Clear about goals, clear about my beliefs, clear about what's important to me, clear about what I'm going to do today. And I think you've got to slow down if you love this 9 to ask them some questions. Like go into a little bit of a happy, friendly investigator, not a pushy investigator that's trying to get to the bottom of things and show you how you're dumb. Not that kind of investigator, but just tell me what's going on in your life. What are you excited about? What are you into? What are your hobbies? And when that 9 starts to trust you and tell you about their weird hobbies where they're out collecting butterflies in the forest or some, 9 hobby like that. I collect butterflies in the forest. I float above the ground. And when they tell you about their hobby, then stay interested in it. Really? What got you into that? Well, that's interesting. Do you get to do that do you get to do that only on special occasions, or when do you get to go gather butterflies in the forest? Tell me more about that. I might not be interested in doing that myself, but I'm interested in you. I care about you. Okay, ask questions to get me clear. Tell me when you like how I look. Why is that in there? I would never have put that in there, but it's so interesting. Does that important to you? Tell me you like how I look. I'm not averse to flattery. What the heck? Why is that in there? I would never have thought to put that in there. Tell me you like how I look. I guess what it does in my mind is it's saying, tell me everything's okay. Tell me you're pleased with me. Tell me that your hands are open and you're not upset with me, and that, I'm a positive, I'm taking up positive space in your life and positive space from your perspective. Tell me you like how I look. Now, it seems to me that, like a lot of sexual 9s, they do maybe care a little bit more about how they look, about being unique. They look a little bit like a 4 sometimes, being different and outside the norm. And I think of like the social 9s as being more polished, more professional. But tell me you like how I look. I would have never thought to put that in the book. That just isn't something that would have come up in my mind. Hug me. What? Hug me? Show me affection? Show physical affection. It opens me up to my feelings. Hug me. Now, my wife and I, we have a daughter named Kaylee who's in some of my older videos. She's moved on and married and has her own family, and we're all very happy, but she's moved on. But, she's a 9-wing 1, and yeah, she was very affectionate. The other kids, not so much. Probably the most affectionate. Is that true for you? Are you an affectionate person? I'm curious, 9-wing 1s, are you more affectionate than 9-wing 8s? Because, 8s, they tend to be a little less affectionate. I know I'm speaking in broad strokes here, but hug me? Here's another one I wouldn't have thought to put in there, but try it out. You're going to be together for holidays. Your 9 right there. Just walk up and hug them. See what happens. Hug me. Show physical affection. It opens me up to my feelings. I like a good discussion, but not confrontation. That makes sense to me. That one, I 100% see that one. I like a good discussion. I like talking about other people and their feelings and their opinions and their beliefs, and I want to try to understand it, and I want to try to bring everybody together, but I don't like confrontation. If it starts to get edgy and combative, and we start talking about how one political group is stupid and how people that believe that are stupid, when we start getting like claws out, I think you're going to see the 9s tend to either become stubborn and stone-faced or withdraw and like, I got to get away from here. So I like a good discussion, but not confrontation. Okay. Let me know when you like what I've done or said. So positive affirmation or positive admiration or words of appreciation or whatever you want to call that. But let me know when you like what I've done. Hey, great job. I'm so proud of you. Great job. Look at what you did. Look at this art. Isn't it awesome what Kaylee did? Look at this painting. I think most people like that, but maybe that's more important to you than some of us realize, is being, positive feedback, positive comments, encouraging words. So if you can find something to be positive about and, speak words that build up, I think that might go a long way. And then the last one on this list is laugh with me. Laugh with me. I like it. Laugh with me and share my enjoyment of life. Because 9s, you guys tend to be the good vibes people, man. Good vibes. You guys tend to be the good vibes people. And my guess is you're probably drawn to people with that positive energy. 7, 9s, 2s, the positivity types. And so you're probably drawn to people who have that positive energy, and you might be a little bit repelled from those that have that, negative energy. So laugh with me. I've got some 9s in my life that love to laugh. And I love being around them. I like going to entertainer mode when I've got a few 9s in my life that are just giggling at my nonsense. I feel like, oh, this is a great way to interact. Okay, encourage. Here's some other notes I wrote down. So some other thoughts that I wrote down. Some of them might be duplications, but just some things that I wrote down on my page. It's very messy. I'm glad you guys are not sticklers for doing it exactly right. So it's a little messy. Create a calm, non-confrontational environment. Avoid unnecessary conflict and aggressive communication. I'm 100% with you on that. 100% with you. I don't like confrontation. I'm a 7-wing 6. Social 7. I'm ENFP. I don't like arguing, fighting. I like fun, witty conversations where people laugh at my jokes, but I don't like conflict and heavy and complicated and uncomfortable. And I'm with you guys. I'm 100% with you. Be patient and encouraging because I struggle with indecision and procrastination. Said it out loud. Procrastination. Hey, download my free book on procrastination. Don't delay. Do it today. Encourage, share thoughts without pressuring me. Acknowledge their presence and their contribution. They often feel overlooked. Yes. And undervalued. Yes. Overlooked and undervalued. So don't do that. Don't overlook and undervalue them. Value them. And maybe that's what gets back to those positive, point out something I did that you like, hugging me, complimenting me. Maybe that slows down and just shows that you value them and you're not overlooking them. There we go. That makes sense. If you feel overlooked and undervalued, then wouldn't it make sense that you would appreciate it if somebody didn't overlook you and they actually valued something that you enjoyed or valued the way you look or value the interaction with you? Makes sense to me. Okay, appreciate their insights and acknowledge their effort. I like that. Acknowledge the effort. Like, hey, I tried. Somebody should acknowledge this. I know I didn't win. I know I didn't finish, but I appreciate your effort. I can see that, acknowledging the effort. Hey, thank you so much for trying. Don't say it like that. That's going to sound bad. Encourage them to share their opinions. And what did I put there? And listen to them and let them know they're safe to share. Respect their need for autonomy. Remember, 9s are a withdrawn type. And as friendly and compliant and as helpful as they might seem, at the end of the day, they're withdrawn types and they need to get away and they need to get their own space and they need to withdraw. And they don't really want you needing them too much or thinking about them too much. So remember that they're going to withdraw at times and you got to allow your 9 to sort of back away from you and have their space, to themselves. Be clear and direct without controlling. Be gentle. Help them prioritize their needs. Don't push them too far or you will push them into resentment and burnout. 9s tend to say yes. You say yes too much. Start saying no. No is your best friend right now. Say no. If you're a 9, you have to learn to say no. Go to your Christmas thing and say, oh, no, thank you. No, that's okay. No, try it. I know it's hard, but you say yes and then you end up resenting people or you end up burned out because you're not a superhuman. And okay, don't take their withdrawing personally. All right, a couple of last things and then we're done. All right, so we're going to wrap this up. Help 9s prioritize their personal goals, help them to speak up and share their opinions. So that means we got to be careful about not getting too combative or too confrontational because it'll shut you down. Help the 9 set boundaries. If a 9 tells you no, then you need to hear a no. Don't keep talking to try to push them to your yes. You need to hear their no because it's really hard for 9s to say no sometimes, especially 9-wing 1s. Active conflict resolution. Yeah, I put down here that it might be helpful for 9s to learn how to do conflict resolution a little better. If that's something that you're struggling with or you find is challenging in your life, to be able to one of the best weapons you have for conflicts is silence as a 9. Just be silent. Just say, yeah, I'm sorry, Tom, that's not going to work for me. Thank you for understanding. And then just be quiet. and let me complain and whine and try to guilt you and then just respond again and say, Tom, I'm really sorry. I hear what you're saying, but like I said, it's just not going to work for me. And once again, thank you for understanding, and just hold that line. Sometimes just holding your line is all the brave you need. You just have to be brave for, 10 minutes holding that position. And don't give them all your reasons, because they don't care about your reasons. They want to undermine your reasons to move you onto their agenda. And you got to see that. You got to understand that. Okay, and then number 5, the last one on my list here, my other list. I have like 3 lists going, by the way. The one in the book and then all the stuff I wrote down. Break free from your routines. There we go. Break free from your routines. If you feel like you're stuck doing the same patterns in life and you need to break free from that and you want to try something new, by all means, step out there. Take a chance. Take a risk. Take a risk. Yeah, you might fail. That's okay. We learn from our failures. Maybe collaborate, talk about it with somebody. I'm here for you. Let's work on this together. All right, guys, that's it. I'm not going to take any more time. Have a great Christmas. Have a great family time. Have a great time with your friends and family. I'm here for you if you need me. But, as always, be present to life. And you guys that love 9s, be gentle, be comforting, be easy on your 9. If you got to deal with problems, deal with them, but just be careful, because you get this little 9 heart that you don't want to crush it. Okay? All right. See you guys next time. Check out this playlist, this video that might help you if you want to keep learning. And as always, be present to life. Take care, guys. Love you all. Have a good one.